And joining us now to discuss today's Senate election is Jake Sherman, Congressional Reporter for Politico. Thanks for joining us, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
This has been held by a Democrat for nearly half a century. How did it become such an uphill battle for Coakley, the Democratic candidate?
I think the conventional wisdom here in Washington and in Boston is that Coakley wasn't as good of a candidate or a campaigner as many had expected. And it's a very tough time for Democrats. There's no question about that. And this kind of underscores how tough of a time it actually is. This is really seen as a national referendum on a lot of the on health care and some other Democratic policies that polls show are not so popular.
Some private citizens from as far as California trying to get involved, to get their friends rallied to donate to candidates. How did this become such a national issue? Is it health care reform, or does it have a lot more to do with perhaps a referendum on Obama's presidency?
I think it's health care reform. I think it's the deficit. I mean, you see the poll numbers for health care reform. They're not doing too well. It's dragged on for a very long time. And the Senate is really trying and had tried to coddle together these votes. And the House got the votes, and they finally thought they had it all together. And now it looks like this could really put it in trouble. But it's not only health care. I think it's important to note that Democrats and President Obama, their numbers are not doing too well. And a Democrat who is not really energizing any of the voters, or a lot of the voters in Massachusetts, is going to have an uphill battle, even if the numbers are good, they're bad. So for Coakley, I think it was an uphill battle to begin with.
We have some latest poll numbers that show, it's from an Insider Advantage Politico poll that shows Brown with 52% of the vote, Coakley coming in at 43%. If Brown wins, what is going to happen to health care reform?
Well, I think that it still could be passed, and Senate Democrats will say that this is not a lost cause. There are other legislative procedures to get this through if Coakley does not win the seat. But I think Senate Democrats are also very wary of the public perception of this. They are already seen to have written this bill and cut deals in back rooms, and I think they will face a real serious problem if they don't win this seat. To try to do it in any other way will also likely not play well with the public. But it also is an ominous sign for Democrats in 2010, which is, as many know, a midterm election. This is symbolic for sure, and perhaps telling for what the midterm elections in November will bring.
We saw President Obama in Massachusetts this past weekend campaigning for Coakley. Do you think that appearance was effective?
Well, I'm not sure what effect President Obama had on this race. It was definitely a tough, something that it was a risk and a political calculation for him. He had already gone to Copenhagen and not got the Olympics, and he went to New Jersey and Virginia in the gubernatorial races in the off year of 2009 to go up there, and both of the Democratic candidates lost in those states. So President Obama, it could hurt him politically. He will have gone, if the numbers are right and Coakley does not win the seat, he will have gone to another state and seen the candidate's political fortunes not turn out so well.
All right, Jake Sherman from Politico. Jake, as always, thank you.
Thanks for having me.